All right, everybody. So I want to pick up where we left off. Abraham, God God asks Abraham, what does he want? Abraham says, listen, you haven't given me a seed. He says, yes, I need that seed. I want my own seed. Somebody put up in the chat, I want my own. I want my own. And Abraham comes to the realization now that when he looks at what he has in his house, Eleazar is not the heir to what God has given him. And many times, as I'm cutting across the field, many times we look in our house and we look at where we are now and we think that this is the blessing. We're looking at ourselves and we say, this has got to be the blessing. That where we are, this is the blessing. This is what God is doing for me. Where I am now, this is what God is doing for me. Many times we'll look at where we are and we think that this is where we've capped out or this is the ceiling. And that's what happened with Abram. Abram and had Eleazar in his house, but God comes to tell him, no, that is not your heir. This is not the blessing. Many times where you are is not the blessing. It's just the holding pattern. Many times we're getting confused at where we are and we think that where we are now is the actual blessing. I've come to tell you that what you have in your life, what's in your house, what you're connected to now, where you are now, the job you have now, the promotion you have now, where you are in your family, the way that people view you now, the way that people are looking at you now, this is not where God is going to leave you. Where you are now is not where God has capped you out at. Many times people look at you're looking at where you are and you're looking at what you have now and you're thinking that this is it. Because the devil will have us believing that where we are now, that's the best that we're going to do. That's the best that God can give us. That's the best that we're going to be blessed. That's the ultimate blessing that we could have. But somebody ought to put up in the chat, what we have now is not the blessing. Eleazar is not the heir. What you have now is not the heir. It's not what's going to catapult him. God tells him, he said, listen, he says, listen here. Let me read it. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, this shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thine heir. So in other words, what you have in your hand now, what you possess now is not the blessing. What you got and what you have now is not the best. Where you live now is not the blessing. What you're driving now is not the blessing. You waiting on the corner. You waiting at the bus stop. You paying with the Omni in New York. They don't have the Metro card no more. They got the Omni. You paying with your Omni on your phone. No, that's not the blessing. No, where you're working at, yes, it's a good job. It's a nice job, but God said, I've got something better for you. God says, yes, the apartment, the condo is nice, but God says, I've got something greater for you. God says, I have something better for you. Yes, you had good friends in your life, but God is going to give you trustworthy friends now in this season. God says what you have in your life now is not the heir. Don't come. Somebody put, oh God, you going to really tell me this? Put this up in the screen. Somebody said, don't get used to it. Somebody put up on the screen, don't get used to this. Don't get used to this. My goodness. Don't get used to this. He says, this is not thine heir, but he that shall come out of thy own bowels shall be thine heir. In other words, what you birth, what you work toward, God says you have to work for it now. Somebody say, you're going to be blessed, but you have to work for it. God says, what you put your hands on, what you work for, you got to put your hands in that soil. Let that dirt come up between your fingernails and between your fingers. God said you're going to have to work, but God said it's going to be yours. Somebody say, don't get used to where you are. I see that. Yes, don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. I'm almost finished for this week. Listen, let me come here. And he brought him forth abroad and said, look now toward heaven and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted unto him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees to give thee this land to inherit it. So in other words, the next blessing, you're not going to even be able to imagine it. That's what he told Abram. This next blessing, he said, if you could count the stars, that's what you're going to get. But if you can't count them, that's what I'm going to give you. So in other words, he's saying if you count them, I'll cap it right there. But if you can't count it, that's how much you're going to be blessed. And God is saying in this next season, you're not going to be able to put a number on the blessing. You're not going to see it coming. You're not going to be able to tangibly put a value on it. In other words, there may be a value that man puts on it. Man may tell you that your property is worth X amount of dollars, but in your life, it's going to be priceless. See, that's how God will do it. Man's price is never God's price. I'm finished right there. Man's price is never God's price. It may be worth this to one person. Listen, I don't know about you, but a peace of mind, nobody can put a price on that for me. Me having peace of mind and being happy, no one can put a price tag on that. And when God gives you peace of mind in this season and gives you and settle within your spirit where you don't let things and people get you out of character and get on your nerve, that is worth more than as they say, the tea in China. Man's price is never God's price. I want y'all to understand that. Stop trying to put a price tag on everything God blesses you with. Because what God blesses you with, where it fits in your life, there's no price tag. What somebody calls a hoopty is a blessing for somebody else. What somebody says is beneath them is on the level for somebody else. God has a way of exponentially, oh God, did I say that? Exponentially increasing the value. And that's what God is going to do. God is going to increase the value. When he puts it in your hands, it's going to be worth more. God, I feel like shouting up in here. When God, what was in somebody's hands, they took for granted. God says when he puts it in your hand, it's going to multiply. And that's what he did with Abram. All right, I'm going to pick this up next week. This is a blessing. We're going to be on the day after 4th of July. 4th of July is on a Monday. So July 5th, we will be right back here with you, blessing you with the word of God. I hope y'all were blessed on tonight. I see so many of y'all on here. I hope y'all were blessed on tonight by this word. Amen. I had such a blessed time bringing it to you. And again, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that cash apped me for my anniversary. Whatever you gave me, I want to thank you for what you did to bless me. It really made my heart glad. New G Brooklyn will tell you, I cried all day long. I cried all day long because I was just overjoyed with so many, not even a financial blessing, but there were so many people that showed up that I hadn't seen in a while. People that walked in the door, the preachers that came, the words that they poured in my life. I'm telling you how New G showed their love and appreciation and their attention to detail on Sunday. It was just such a blessed day, and I will never, ever forget it. And I want to thank each and every one of you for whatever you did. Even if you just wished me, Bishop, happy anniversary. That meant the world to me. It meant, again, you couldn't put a price tag on it. Couldn't put a price tag on what you've done, each and every one of you. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you so much. All right. Please tonight, if you can, be a blessing to New G. We usually ask for $22.22 toward the ministry. Many of you have been so faithful with that amount. If you can't give that amount, we ask that you get as close as you can to it. Again, we just want you to give from your heart. And whatever you give from your heart, God honors the cheerful giver. That's what we want you to do. We want you to give cheerfully. I thank God for each and every one of you again for what you've done. Yes, I see Rashima. Yes, y'all, and listen, Rashima, y'all made some good greens and good mac and cheese. Listen, that food was on point on Sunday. I mean, everybody that cooked and served and smiled and greeted and hugged and showed love. It was just like old times at New G Brooklyn. That's all I can say. It was just like New G Brooklyn of old. And it was just an awesome, awesome day. But tonight, please, if you can, sow that seed. Sow that seed. Yep, Cash App, New G Brooklyn, money sign New G Brooklyn. You can give right to the ministry. I want to thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much in advance for your liberal giving and your seed that you will sow. Again, a seed you sow can go places that you will never go. I thank you so much. Please don't forget, tomorrow morning you can join the Power Prayer Line with Elder Leila Smith and the Prayer Warriors. Thursday you can join Deacon Brittany Daniels. You can join her at 7 p.m. on the Power Prayer Line and Facebook Live. And on Friday you can join Elder Griffin, Executive Pastor Griffin, and the Prayer Warriors of New G Brooklyn at 6 a.m. on the Power Prayer Line. Please don't forget, I will be in Atlanta, 480 North Perry Street at 10 a.m. this coming Sunday. Please join me there. We had such a wonderful crowd 2 weeks ago in that location, and I'm just so glad about the growth. We're growing slowly, but listen, we're growing little by little, and I love it. So please, if you know somebody in the Atlanta area, if you know someone, and I know somebody knows somebody in Atlanta, if you know somebody in the Atlanta area, please point them to 480 North Perry Street, 480 North Perry Street. That is in Lawrenceville, Georgia. We start at 10 a.m., promptly at 10 a.m. Please come. There is a word from the Lord. I promise you. We had so many men in the building, and that's my ministry. I'm trying to reach out to men, old, young, middle-aged, young boys, teenagers, ladies. Listen, you always outnumber us. Of course, you know I welcome the ladies. So listen, bring your friend, bring Lottie Dottie and everybody. 480 North Perry Street. We start at 10 a.m. We will be on New G Atlanta page streaming live on Sunday. You can also look at the Cathedral at New Gethsemane right here on this page for Brooklyn service. You can join at 10 a.m. So either place you go at 10 a.m., there will be a New G Brooklyn service on Facebook Live. All right. Thank you so much. Don't forget, Tuesday and Thursday, you can join Pastor Cynthia McCants on 52 Weeks in the Word and her Pastor Cynthia McCants page. Both of them on Facebook. You can also join her on YouTube. Pastor Cynthia McCants, you can join her on YouTube on Thursday morning at 6 a.m. Ignite your day in the Word. All right. Thank you so much for joining. I want to just shout a couple of people out. I saw everybody. I think I shouted everybody out that I see on the broadcast. Thank you so very, very much. And I will see you on next week. And if I don't see you again, I'm hoping to see you Sunday in 480 North Perry Street in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Hoping to see you there. If not, have a healthy, happy 4th of July. Mount of Believers. We'll see you next time.